In the first 5 stages of the Cambridge Latin course, all of the verbs have been in the present tense. Caecilius writes in the study. Grumio works in the kitchen. As we've seen, Latin doesn't have a way to distinguish what Caecilius usually does in the study, he writes, from what he's doing in there right now, he is writing. The simple verb scribit would be used in either case, although additional words could be added to the sentence to make the distinction clear. When describing events that took place in the past, Latin does make this distinction because it makes a real difference in the way we tell a story. If I tell you that Caecilius was walking to the forum, you'll expect me to tell you what happened to him on the way, and you'll wonder if he ever actually got there. But if I tell you that Caecilius walked to the forum, you'll expect me to talk about what happened in the forum because you know that Caecilius is already there. Now, to say that Caecilius walked to the forum, we're going to use something called the perfect tense. Now, perfectum in Latin means completed or done. So when I say Caecilius ad forum ambulavit, I'm using the perfect tense, and I'm telling you that his journey is complete. On the other hand, if I say Caecilius ad forum ambulabat, I'm using something called the imperfect tense. This comes from the Latin word imperfectum, which means incomplete, not done. So Caecilius ad forum ambulabat is like saying Caecilius was walking to the forum. He's not there yet, and the story is obviously going to focus on the stuff that happened to him on the way. Subito, for example, clamorem audivit. Suddenly, he heard a noise. Now, notice how I didn't have to repeat the word Caecilius here, because I know you know who I'm talking about. The pronoun he is only necessary in English, where we need it in order to be clear. More importantly, I want you to notice how the perfect and imperfect tenses work together to tell a story. That Caecilius was walking to the forum provides the background information. That he suddenly heard a noise is what moves the story along. Now, the imperfect tense can also be used to describe habitual or repeated action in the past, the stuff that you used to do. So when I say Caecilius in tablino scribebat, I'm either setting up a story by telling you what Caecilius was doing in the tablinum on a particular occasion, Caecilius was writing, or I'm describing what he used the tablinum for, what he used to do in there on a regular basis. As with the present tense, context clues will generally help us distinguish between these two possible meanings. With a little practice, these two past tenses are pretty easy to recognize and to distinguish from each other. The imperfect tense is formed by inserting the letters BA in between the verb stem, the part that means to walk or to write or to give, and the ending, in this case the letter T, that indicates the subject. So in this case we're using the third person he for all three, but of course that can change. To form the perfect tense, we'll make slight changes to the stem of each verb. And different verbs do this differently, sometimes adding the letter V to the stem, sometimes by adding an S sound, or by doubling the consonant that we find in the present tense. But rather than focusing on the phonetic rules behind these patterns, it's best to just memorize the perfect tense form of each new verb that you meet. The way you learned in English that writes becomes wrote and not righted, that gives becomes gave and not gived. There are complete charts of all three of these tenses in your textbook as well as in your Schoology resource folder. We'll pay more attention to the charts as we approach the end of Unit 1. Anyway, that's all for now. I'll see y'all in class or on the Zoom on Monday morning.